Yo, Natsu here. As you can see from the title, back again for what if Deku was in Danmachi with the 7 deadly skills. Oh yeah. I'm only coming back to do 2 parts on this before taking a break that will be for a different reasons. Well, for a different reason. Basically, me and 2 other people were actually planning for a what if for me to do since almost a year ago. Not a year, but half a year ago. Yeah, since a long time basically, and we actually finally finished it. Or at least, we basically finished what Deku's power sets, abilities, and everything will be. You're going to be able to see it starting in 4 days. And yeah, I'm basically going to do that one one day, well, for a while, basically, because I was really planning on doing that along, like, I wasn't thinking it was going to take 6 months to do, but it did. So yeah, I'm basically doing 2 parts of this, 1 part of Lightning Dragon Slayer Deku, and 1 last part of God's Trial before starting that one. You're going to be able to see it then. So yeah, today, tomorrow, the day after that, and the day after that one, I'm basically just doing from the 3 things that I was already doing. And after that, I'm going to do about 4 or 5 parts of the new What If before coming back to this one precisely. Which I'm probably going to go like 2 or 3 parts before then going to another one, and basically going between those 4 series. So yeah, this is the occasion for why I decided to do this one again. So keep that in mind. The 2 people that helped me for the what if aren't actually on Discord. In fact, I'm pretty sure I never actually talked about this what if in particular with anyone on Discord, since I wanted to keep it secret. So yeah, let's go. In the last part, basically what was happening was right after people think they saw a dungeon guardian, a massive monster that basically comes out when enough of the dungeon is, well, damaged. And right now, the Loki Familia, as well as a few other groups, and Deku, who did join the Loki Familia, are basically going down to see if it truly is a a dungeon guardian, or if it's just someone who mistook it for that. Deku got special weapons made specifically for himself. Precisely 2 gauntlets. I don't remember if I made him do the boots yet, but pretty sure I didn't. Well, actually no, he did ask for them, but she didn't have time to actually do the boots yet. That's going to come in later. But yeah, he's basically going to get gauntlets and boots made of the same kind of things as Belle's knife, so that grows with Deku. And yeah, now let's start. Everyone still asking themselves where Deku got the money, since he didn't answer their questions of when did you get enough cash to buy them. He basically just told them he was just ready to go, so not answering the question and even literally bypassing it completely, making everyone wonder at that point. But yeah, so since everyone's ready, they start going down. to basically see if it truly is one of those. Basically, the few people who are actually basically doing scouting to actually see if there is one actually find that, yeah, there is one there. And yeah, they basically go back pretty fast, say that, yep, it came out. So, yeah, obviously, that means for them that they have to prepare even more right before going straight for it. Like, they had everything ready, but now they were supposed to directly place themselves in the right position and everything. And Deku was basically placed right behind the front line to basically get close enough to it, start using not physical hunt, but steal. Basically stealing the Dungeon Guardian's stats to try and hopefully weaken it. When they were close enough to it, they basically saw it was practically charging towards them already. And Deku literally removed his presence. Everyone already attracted by the Dungeon Guardian basically just saw Deku disappear. The Dungeon Guardian didn't even know Deku was there. Deku literally got close, started to use Steel for the stats. Felt a great amount of power being pumped into him. Not as great as with the Goliath, since obviously it's two different things. But yeah. So, basically the Goliath just kind of keeps going, with two people just kind of going straight to try and break its leg. Well, one of its leg, trying to slow it down, which didn't work at all. Basically, they were just slapped away near instantly. Oh yeah, before I forget, I think I said it yesterday that I started school, so depending on if a day is more exhausting than others, I might not do a video for that day or for an entire week, because how my school will go, well, how my school year will go is literally just, oh yeah, you do cooking or cleaning, then in the afternoon it's either in books or doing other things like that. So depending on the day, I might literally just be not in the mood to do any videos. It should only start in like a week or two, not yet, so don't worry. But yeah, just wanted to say that before I forget to say it, and that suddenly people ask why I miss like 1 or 2 days every week. But yeah, so going back to what I was saying about the what if, basically the two people were literally punched away, well, not directly punched, but basically blasted away by the Guardian. Basically, when that happened, a few people basically just thought, wait, where's Deku? Well, the Demon Guardian. Wow, I tried to talk about the Dungeon Guardian and I say Demon Guardian. Then I tried to say Demon Guardian and I say Dungeon Guardian. Really? Oh god. Anyway. So, basically, they ask where he is, until suddenly Deku just kind of tries to put as much power in his punch as possible, basically activating like every 7 deadly sin skills he already had. Pride is always active, Rat just activated, Demon Blood activated, Dragon Scale activated, Envy activated, basically knowing now that, oh yeah, he can nullify damage from something by basically activating the skill, basically making it so that the Dungeon Guardian in itself, well, basically thinking that he envy its strength, basically making like any physical damage directly from the Dungeon Guardian literally null on him. Though it basically, if Deku gets hit by it, he will be thrown into a wall. The hit from the wall, that part will hurt Deku. But in itself, the hit from the Dungeon Guardian directly won't do anything to him. That's basically how it works. On top of that, thanks to Snatch being activated, he basically has a 5 or 6 time fear boost, which the moment he basically went to punch, the Dungeon Guardian saw him, and he wasn't afraid. But everyone else was afraid enough to basically take a step back in that moment. Basically making Deku just, having enough room to punch it at such a strength that even if it was being thrown to the wall and breaking a piece of the cave, dungeon, it wouldn't directly fall on anyone since everyone basically just moved back for a while. But everyone was still in range to see one thing though. Deku appear out of nowhere, which he didn't actually appear out of nowhere, he was always there and anyway, and basically punch it with the weapon, the gauntlet specifically made by Hephaestus, and a part of the Dungeon Guardian literally cracked. Like, the amount of strength that was in that punch wasn't like humongously impossible or something like that. But from the stats he took from the Dungeon Guardian before activating the boosts, and from having the hardening basically from Dragon Scales basically increase even more his Demon Blood's transformation, plus the speed he was using going for the face, basically culminated in Deku basically punching it to the wall and literally scaring everyone with nearly a boom basically made when his punch reached the head of the Dungeon Guardian. Obviously he didn't kill it, like nowhere near being able to do that. With the Dungeon Guardian basically trying to hit back Deku and actually hitting him. Drawing him basically towards the group where nobody actually tried to catch him. For a few reasons. Basically, they moved out of the way, Deku crashed on the ground, basically making a small crater. The Dungeon Guardian standing back up, ready to attack people, with everyone from the Loki Familia that were there and who could attack, basically starting to do that. Most people were trying to go straight for where there were cracks on the Dungeon Guardian to try and actually kill it. But basically, they're able to do pretty good damage. Though a big part of its power was basically drained by Deku already, like around 5%. Which when you count the power of a Dungeon Guardian, that's great power. Which Deku all have inside of him right now, which he can boost. Obviously, against normal people, like against humans, or human-like beings, it doesn't take a lot at a time. Though if he actually pushes it to the max, he can take like chunks out of their health, out of their stats. But it still takes time. if he forces the skill to basically be pushed further by basically using his own magic to boost the skill, then he can basically gobble the stats of enemy at an extreme rate, which he is actually doing right now for the Dungeon Guardian because he knows those things are dangerous. Like, he doesn't know if it could be placed on the same rank as the Goliath that he basically helped defeat. Right now, from how the stats are going in, he thinks they're either similar or that the Goliath was stronger. What he doesn't know is that no, the Goliath was probably weaker. It's just that because of its aura that it was unleashing, Deku was able to absorb stats a lot faster, while also not taking too much from the Goliath stat themselves. Basically, he was absorbing the stats, well, a large amount of power from the Goliath, but kind of not doing that much of a dent, simply because he was already weaker, so having more trouble absorbing power. But yeah, so basically Deku got back up pretty fast from what people saw. Well, except for those that knew that, oh yeah, even if he has a broken spine, he'll stand back up anyway when in that form. So basically surprising a few people, others just telling him that he needs to get back in the fight. Like, everyone knew that when he was brought in, it was just to absorb stats. But they saw that he was the one to do the most damage in a single hit. Basically telling him that absorb faster and hit it again. So, obviously, Deku will obey that. So basically he pushes even more magic into his steel ability, literally trying to take as much power as possible, with people over time actually seeing the difference really slowly, like, showing. Deku basically, having removed most of his kills from activated so that he could basically have someone try to heal him, which they just saw that it still took too long because of the Dragon Scales, which is a passive skill. Well, semi-passive skill. Basically, it's always active, but just to block magic. So, yeah, he needs potions. He takes one to basically heal himself and goes back to the fight, removing his presence once again, but this time it doesn't actually work because the Dungeon Guardian is specifically looking out for him. Since, yes, the others are strong and do more damage over time, but that one did that much damage to me in a single hit. I need to take it down now. So yeah, the Dungeon Guardian's basically targeting Deku specifically right now. When Deku saw that, he basically just went all out, still hiding his presence to basically not let a huge amount of terror just ooze out around everyone. Because he saw how people felt it the first time, and basically getting back. Like, no one even wanting to get close to him, even when he was being launched towards them. So, yeah. He keeps his stealth on just for that piece precisely. And basically goes back to attacking the Dungeon Guardian. With Deku basically using speed this time instead of strength to just grab its attention, letting the others hurt the Dungeon Guardian. With Deku at one point looking at the ceiling, seeing a stalactite, and basically just kind of bringing the Dungeon Guardian towards it. jumping on the wall, and basically thanks to the claws from the demon blood transformation, which he can actually grow from his body, basically on the gloves, there's literally a part where if he actually activates that, the gloves kind of retract for that to happen. So when he uses it, he can still have his claws out. Basically, what I mean is like, they look like normal fingers, but when he activates the claws, they change shape to actually accommodate claws instead, allowing him to grab onto the wall, basically jump 2 or 3 times, reach the stalactite with the dungeon guardian straight under, and basically breaking it, making it fall straight on it, hurting it like hell, basically putting a hole in its body and pinning it down there. He basically screams that it might get out soon, so to attack it. But they basically keep attacking it until they're able to kill it, and they just see that he never actually breaks the stalactite. Since the dungeon guardian is made to guard the dungeon, protect it, but it's not able to, break the dungeon willingly. So that part is still a part of the dungeon, so it won't break it. And basically they just thought it was a fluke. Deku didn't understand that either. But they were happy that they were able to defeat it. And pretty fast also. Though when everyone was happy, Deku's steel ability basically stopped absorbing the monster's stats because he released it. And nearly fell down from the ceiling. So someone had to catch it that time. But yeah, so when he woke up, he was actually, back up to the save zone. I think it's floor 18. So bikes. Sorry. But yeah, basically, he was brought back up to floor 18, if it's the right floor, and basically left to just recuperate, since this time it wasn't actually his body that was damaged. It was literally because of the stamina restraint that he used, as well as the huge amount of magic he was using constantly to absorb more and more stats from the dungeon guardian, and pushing his steel ability to an extreme point. It shouldn't even be there without the magic. So yeah, the only reason he was able to keep consciousness all the way to that point was thanks to the stats he was stealing from the dungeon guardian. He was basically absorbing magic, so at the same time, so obviously it was keeping his power going. And thanks to how Deku had boosted it, he was basically taking nearly as much magic as it was taking him. Well, he was absorbing nearly as much magic as what it was taking him to keep the boosted version of Steel activated. So he was basically just able to keep it on always. But the moment those stats went away, yeah, his magic was at 0. Basically knocking him out instantly. So basically A-0, which is basically depleted magic, so your mind needs to recuperate. After that happened though, basically when he woke up, he went outside, people saw him, and many people were actually congratulating him because, literally, they would have won alone, but nowhere near that fast. So, yeah, lucky for him. Also, the dungeon guardian had dropped an item, which nearly everyone decided to give to Deku, because literally without him dropping the stalactite, it would have been a long fight. Like, thanks to him, they saved on potions, weapons, and basically lives, because pretty sure some people would have died as well. So, yeah, they decided to at least give that item to Deku, which Deku promptly decided that he was going to give to Hephaestus, since his contract is basically pay it back, and yeah, pretty much that. So items or quests from her, he basically can give them to her to reduce his payment that he needs to give her. He can also just save up on money and give it to her as well. That also helps in basically removing a bit of the debt. But yeah, basically that's what he decided to do. So yeah. Deku basically asked if it was okay for him to go back up alone, since he's perfectly capable of doing that. With, in the end, basically Finn and Rivera basically accepting, since, yeah, you were basically just told to help us fight that thing. So if we don't have anything else to do with that, you can leave at any point. So he left. Basically, he went back up the floors in less than 2 hours, basically boosting his power to the max with Demon Blood, Wrath, and everything else. And basically just kind of went through each tunnel that allowed to either fall down faster or go up faster. And then in the upper floor, he was basically just going straight through the fastest way that he was able to find. Basically, he had made a small map in his mind, since obviously it's still Deku, so intelligence is there. But yeah, he basically had made himself a small map that basically had the fastest way between each floors that he already went to multiple times. So yeah, he basically came back up at an astounding speed. Some people were waiting at the exit for if at one point someone came up to say that, oh yeah, it was more dangerous than we thought, call more people. So when they saw Deku, they were like, oh shit, did something bad happen? And with multiple people freaking out, until he basically just said that they already defeated it. With so many people just looking at him like he's crazy at first, until he basically shows an item, the item, saying that, well, they were able to defeat him, so his job was done, since his job was just to help defeat it. So he came back up. Basically, he was out for almost an entire day, so it's not really that much of a problem though. But yeah, normally people stay down there a longer time to recuperate. So him going back up that fast was surprising. First thing he did was basically go back to the guild to go drop off the item to Hephaestus, which did remove a big part of his debt. Not that big, but still a chunk of it. And telling him that his boots are almost ready. He basically told her that he had time to wait, with her saying that it will take a few hours though. Making Deku say that, okay, well then, just send it to the Loki Familia. I'm going to be there. Saying to him that it will arrive tomorrow. So Deku went and left. Went for the Loki Familia. And when he entered, a few people saw him and were like, wait, you're already back? So it wasn't a demon dungeon guardian? With Deku saying that, yeah, it was one, but they defeated it. Basically giving a good news. Basically saying that he's going to say it to Loki. Saying it to Loki. And her saying that, well, since he's here already, why not update his status for the first time? Well, not for the first time, but basically telling him to update his status. When they did, first thing that happened was Loki literally screaming, "Level 2?" Which scared a few people that were outside. Deku as well. Which, basically, it wasn't actually surprising that he passed to level 2, since he helped defeat a fucking dungeon guardian. And that I think the only requirement to level up is do something impressive. So, yeah, he did something impressive. Basically, that meant that now she had to prepare so that the other place basically gives him a name for level up, which many people won't consider the fastest level up ever, but they just think, nah, the rookie did it faster. Basically remembering that Deku's been there for an entire year, so compared to Bell, it wasn't as fast. But, well, he is special, so that level up might be special as well. Which it is! By a monstrous amount. But yeah, so then she looks at the skills and she says to Deku that there's actually 2 new skills, which surprises her even more. The first one, and she basically says, well, the first one is pretty much, well, interesting. It's the first time in your status that a skill doesn't come from something that sounds from the 7 deadly sins. Basically telling Deku directly about that, which Deku already knows, since greed, wrath, pride, and envy are literally that 7 deadly skins, 7 deadly sins. God damn, I have a problem talking right now. Yeah, stress level went way up starting school. But yeah, so basically, Deku asks what it is, and she says it's actually a skill called MP Extreme Recovery. Basically allowing him to recover MP at an extreme rate. Deku asks if there's a description, with her saying that actually no, and actually it's the first time she hears extreme recovery. Like fast recovery or lesser recovery, yeah, she heard that, but extreme? That's, well, new. With her saying to Deku that the others basically boost a bit the speed at which mana recovers, but his is weird. But don't worry, I'm going to explain the skill correctly, so she doesn't have to. Yeah, no, sorry about that. But yeah, so basically, Deku's stats, just like any other stats, are counted as numbers. But compared to a precise amount that it recovers faster, or just says, oh yeah, that's your normal recovery and we boosted by this much, MP Extreme Recovery actually does something quite special for Deku. It recovers a total of 1% of his mana per minute. So 1% means that in 100 minutes, he has back his entire mana. Obviously, it's not just, oh yeah, 1 minute, 1% came back. It's basically goes up fast over time. So basically, he can, if he finds the right balance, he could keep pushing out magic near infinitely. The second skill he got, which once again isn't a 7 deadly sin skills, but still it's basically thanks to a secret effect of pride that he's able to get more skills right now. Basically, if his body needs something because he's pushing it over time extremely far, his body will basically force out a new skills thanks to pride affecting his growth. So basically, that's why the extreme MP recovery happened, because literally Deku was absorbing almost an entire percent of his own mana back up while fighting the dungeon guardian. While what he was doing while using magic to boost his other skill was basically taking 3% nearly every 50 seconds. Well, so yeah, he was, not 50, 30. So basically, when he was absorbing from the dungeon guardian, he was absorbing 1/6 of the mana he was using, which was good, obviously. So his body basically having that being near constant, basically created a skill for that. But yes, his body did activate it on its own, since he can get skills by himself. He just didn't know of it. He basically got it at the end of the battle when he went Mind Zero. But still, the skill did heal his magic. He was still passed out for an entire day. So yeah, now we go for the second skill, which she doesn't actually understand what it is. Oh yeah, also pretty sure she isn't able to see the self-growth skill. So yeah, that's one thing I think I forgot to say. But yeah, basically, she says she doesn't understand that skill. And that... Sorry about that. Someone's passing by. Okay. Basically, the name of the skill is Tough Body. But written in a weird way. It looks like it's written tough, like someone is strong and durable. But the way it's written actually replaced some of the letters with numbers. Well, no. I wasn't sure if the letters were the Greek letters that I was going to use for that one, or if some of the letters were going to be numbered, but I think I'm going to go with the Greek things. So basically saying to Deku that the letters are basically different when written in the word tough. Basically, there's once again no description to the skill, and basically, what the ability does, even though her and Deku don't know, is that it boosts Deku's, defense and recovery rate for HP. So basically, over time, his health will grow slowly back up, with his defense increasing. Like, the less HP he has, the greater his defense will go up. Then add the two boost skills, and yeah, basically over time his defense is basically augmented by a huge amount during a single fight. Though it goes back down pretty quick when he starts getting HP back. Which is why he basically gets HP over time back again. Though this one doesn't have a precise percentage over time, it basically depends on what Deku's doing in the moment. If he's just sitting around, it's going to go back up faster than if he's fighting, obviously. But still. Though to recover HP, it does use magic. It's a passive skill, so basically as long as he's being hurt, that's going to take his magic. But because of his magic recovery, yeah, it doesn't even show. Like, even if you could see the numbers, you would see the HP go back up, but the MP wouldn't even change. So, I think there's people again. Yeah, no, I was wrong. Okay. But yeah, so basically, they hear that, oh yeah, now he's level 2 and he has 2 new skills. Which, like she said before, it's the first time that it isn't a 7 Deadly Sins skills. Well, a skill with the 7 Deadly Sins name, or a skill that is basically given by those skills. Though she's a bit wrong, because yes, it is given by Pride, because he was pushing his body to do something precise. Or at least that's how the skill was seeing it. So giving him stuff that represented what he was doing. But yeah. Basically, Deku said he was going to sleep, asked if there was a room he could use. She told him about one, he went there, and even though he slept for an entire day, he actually went back to sleep and almost slept for an entire day again. Like, he slept for 16 hours. Which, the others by this point came back up, asked where Deku was. Someone said that he was sleeping. Someone asked how long, 16 hours. With them literally screaming that when he left, he basically had woken up an hour before, and from sleeping for over 24 hours. Well, almost 24 hours. Which surprised everyone except one person, Loki. Basically, someone saw that she wasn't surprised and asked what it was about, with her explaining about the 2 new skills, which didn't have description and she had never heard of. Extreme Magic Recovery, well, MP Extreme Recovery, which she didn't know exactly what it did, except probably boost his recovery in mana, and Tough Body written in strange letters, basically showing the, well, paper that, just like Hestia does to Bell, to show the person his stats, basically showing it to the others, with some of them seeing that, oh, he passed level 2! So he doubled in power! Neat! Basically meaning that even if he doesn't do anything else right now, if he uses Demon Blood, Wrath, compared to what he was right before, it would have become an 8-time multiplier, though that's just because he already has a double stats from leveling up, and that now his stats will basically, even though they value to 1 point, would value more around what it would look like for 2 points, if I remember correctly. That's how it works. But yeah, so a few people were just afraid when they heard that. Like, he was already that strong. What's going to be now? On top of hearing about 2 new skills. And from how a few people understood it, oh yeah, when he activates a skill, the fear appears. Those 2 won't happen, well, won't do that. Since it's only applied for the 7 Deadly skills themselves, and also the extra skills that they give the moment they're received. So even if they're skills that come directly from Pride, they weren't extra skill given to Deku the moment he got Pride, if you understand what I mean. So yeah, it won't actually boost the fear effect. When Deku woke up, it was basically because someone woke him up, saying that Loki was looking for him, because 2 weapons, well, boots arrived. Basically, when he came back down, well, when he came down to Loki, she basically screamed at him that, how much did it cost him? She didn't say anything about the gauntlets because, well, obviously you were about to go fight something dangerous, but what are those? They're made of, with Deku just saying that, well, he had actually asked her to do both at the same time, and thought that he could probably get both before fighting the Dungeon Guardian, which he realized only afterward that he only needed the gloves, well, gauntlets. She told him she was going to do the same thing, using her blood to basically activate the weapons, and then let him use them. Basically, he always has the mask as well. Since I didn't talk about the mask the entire time, and just to be sure, because my mind was like, it could sound as if he doesn't have his mask. On top of that, since it's been a while since I did this one, yeah, if someone forgets that he has a mask, it's better to talk about it. But yeah, so basically, she activates them, Deku puts them on, puts the gauntlets on, and basically says he's going to go back to the dungeon to train a bit. With her saying that, well, I think the name giving happens like every month or something. So let's just say that, oh, it's coming up. So basically telling him that if he stays for a few days in the dungeon, he's only going to get his name when he comes back up. With him saying he's probably going to stay down there for 3 or 4 days. With her saying that, oh, well, he's actually going to come back up the day where she's going to get his name. Which he's okay with that. And he goes down. Deku, what he decides to do is go back to, well, the floors under the safe zone. Which, like I said, he can basically do the entire way in 2 hours because he doesn't exhaust himself as much while in his demon blood while using the demon blood skill. So, yeah, compared to nearly everyone, even those that have a higher stats that normally had higher stats than him, even though now his speed stat is basically something that people would see at a level 3, if I remember correctly. So, yeah, he's pretty fast, but not as fast as others. But because of the way he basically made an entire map for the fastest ways, basically the longest parts are the higher floor. Since the moment there's the place where there are holes between floors directly that can bring to 2 or 3 floors below, he basically just takes a few minutes to go through those by pushing himself down when flying. Like flying nearly the entire way, and only when doing extremely sharp turns does he basically grab to the wall with claws, turns around and pushes himself in that direction. So yeah, he basically gets back down in 2 hours once again, and then starts going to the lower floors. Since he wanted to actually see what types of monsters were there. Sorry if my voice was a bit weaker right there. But yeah, so literally people just saw that we're going to go back up, basically just saw something pass right next to them, going super fast, going straight for a place to go down to the next floor, with nobody actually thinking of the Demon Guardian at that moment, just thinking, what the fuck was that? Because his speed is way too great. Well, actually, I just thought of something. No, his stats of level 3 was before. Now it's more like stats of level 4. Since he has the level up that doubles, then Wrath or Demon Blood that doubles again, making him seems like a level 3, and double again with the other skill. So yeah, he literally looks like a level 4. Well, a boosted level 4, since he was going into the like above S ranks. Like his lowest stats before leveling up was literally at 1632. Meaning that, yes, they were in the triple S, since I don't think they actually are able to go above that, but they are so fucking high that he nearly has the power of actually a level above that even. Not lowest stats, highest stats was at 1632. Lowest is only in the 1400s. But yeah, basically he was already like in the middle of a level, like close to what a level 2 normally has for stats when he just gets there. So, yeah, no, he's actually really fucking strong. Now that I think about it, nearly... Fucking hell, what the fuck did I do for a monster? When activating all of his skills, he basically has the stats of nearly a level 5. I never actually took time to calculate what it would do. Oh god. Though I was trying to do that because he doesn't actually want to rely on the rat and demon blood skills all the time. It's just that recently he's been using them near constantly. But yeah, he doesn't want to use those skills all the time. So it will balance out at one point. It's just that for now he nearly constantly uses them when fighting against stuff stronger than him. Now he's still using, well, the two, basically going to the floors right below 18 and basically demolishing the monsters at an astonishing speed, which he hadn't realized until now that he was this strong. Basically making him remove one of the skills, let's just say Wrath, so that he can still fly. And basically he's still pretty much overpowering them pretty easily. Since, obviously, if you double 1600, you get 3200. That's his stats the moment he went to level 2. So, yeah, he's basically demolishing nearly everything. God damn. Sorry. But yeah, basically he's still going down, down, down. He basically lost track of how low he went, but he nearly breached the 26th floor, which I think is like halfway through the lowest floor. Come on! Can it stop now? Can I talk? Okay. But yeah, basically, I think 26 is like halfway to the lowest floor that people went, which is there that Deku finally gets, well, a bit of a challenge, let's just say it like that. While only using his demon blood form, and it's him actually holding back quite a bit. So yeah, Deku was basically doing that specifically because he wanted to see how strong he could be either without it or when holding back. So yeah, he's seeing that, oh shit, he can go far. Like obviously a level 2, if he didn't have his skill that boosts his power, he wouldn't be at that floor. But at the same time, thanks to the fear effect that the other skill gives, the dragon skills that basically increases defense even more, his tough body, which increases defense even more when his HP gets lowered, and basically everything just kind of makes Deku like way too strong for what he should be. Which actually, a few groups actually saw Deku fighting in those floors, went back up, told what they saw, and finally made a group of people very much interested in him, to the point that they actually think that they need to meet him and know what the fuck's going on with him. This group actually have a god, well, are under a goddess, which I forget the name again, but basically, by themselves, they kind of just call themselves the angels. The reason for that is because of their skills. Well, no, they don't actually call themselves the angels, but the virtues, that's the word. Damn, I had trouble with that. If you don't understand right now, let me explain it like that. The 7 deadly sins are the skills, well, the powers of 7 demons. Leviathan, Beelzebub, and others. And to go against them, they have their opposites, which were owned by angels. The 7 heavenly virtues, which is one of their names. There is other names for them, but basically they're owned by angels and are specifically made to balance out with the 7 deadly sins. So, example is lust. Its counter with the angel that was basically the other side of the coin for that had abstinence. So basically those people all have one of the 7 virtue skills, while Deku has 4 of the sin skills, though he's going to get all 7, as you can see from the title. So yeah, basically this was kind of known. Now, basically we cut to when Deku comes out and goes back to to the Loki Familia's residence. When he gets there, Loki's not back yet, and basically he waits for her, basically goes into the room he was given, to actually remove his mask for a while. Which is when an accident happened. One of the person who didn't actually see his real face, well, no, she saw his real face a few times already, and actually talked with him a few times as well. It's Tiona. She had talked with the boy named Izuku Midoriya quite a few times. Basically, bumping into him like 2 or 3 times, outside the dungeon, and a few more times inside the dungeon when her and Tion were basically just going around doing stuff. She basically entered like at the exact same time that Deku was removing his mask, basically seeing the green hair and remembering that one kid that she saw a lot. Deku basically had a face of, shit, with her just saying, wait, you're that boy, and then just thinking to herself, wait, but that boy isn't strong at all. How are you the same person? With Deku basically activating Wrath and Demon Blood and basically shutting the door at an alarming speed behind her. Basically telling her that it kind of needs to be kept a secret. With her not understanding why, saying that, well, he's super strong, so why would he hide it? With him saying that, a kid that comes from nowhere, that seems to be acting weak, well, that seems super weak, suddenly being revealed to be the strongest, newbie around. Someone who even defeated a floor boss by himself and helped defeat a dungeon guardian. What do you think would happen when, even yesterday, I actually passed as, me, to do some quest to basically make people still think I'm two different people. Basically kind of a bit realizing that, oh yeah, it could be bad. Basically telling him that it needs to be kept a secret, and basically just kind of sitting on the ground saying, God damn it, I thought I locked the door. Which basically just kind of makes Tiona say sorry. But then saying that his face is actually cute when he doesn't have the mask, making Deku blush until someone basically screams that Loki's back. So Deku grabs back his mask, puts it on his head, looks at Tiona and tells her to never say about, well, who he really is, and basically goes. Tiona comes out of the room, with Tion having basically seen Deku come out really fast, and then Tiona just kind of a bit, well, looking a bit bewildered, coming out as well, with her asking what happened in there, with her just saying that he might be angry at her. So they basically follow towards where Deku is, with Deku asking what his name is, since obviously he wants to know, with her saying that, well, his name doesn't change, with a few people being like, wait, what do you mean? With her saying, well, they like the name that people gave him, the Demon Guardian, so they just kind of let him have it, since everyone was already calling him that anyway. So yeah, his name literally doesn't change. Deku, the Demon Guardian. So yeah, hope you liked it. Leave a like if you did. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comment section. I've got to go, so Natsu out.